Hey, everybody. It is time for another episode of There's No Crying in Crochet, where we take your everyday crochet problems and frustrations and we make them fun and we work them out. At least we
Mhm.
try.
We try.
Now, we are pre recording this episode because when you see this, we will be other places, but we didn't want to miss this episode because we love hanging with you all, whether we're in person or virtual. So, before we get started in this episode, we're going to do a little bit of business. And this is an easy one
Mhm.
so that you know whenever we're about to go live with a YouTube, with a podcast episode, or when we drop a new tutorial or any kind of fun stuff on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to Busy Crochet and Madame Crochet because you'll get a notification every time
Mhm.
we do. And just to make sure you know who we are, I am Debbie of MadameStitch, and this is my cohort in crime.
I'm busy crochet. Welcome everybody.
Yeah, so because we are pre-recording this, we're not going to talk about what's up this week because we don't know what's coming this week. We kind of have an idea, but we're not going to
Big
look into the
mystery.
future, right? It's a big mystery. So just imagine what we might be doing this week. All right. We just finished an episode on how to honor the moms who crochet in your
Yeah.
life. So that was crochet specific.
Yeah.
In this episode, we are 2 days away from Mother's Day. In the United States, we celebrate Mother's Day the second Sunday of May.
Mhm.
And we're going to do some more general, how do we pamper mom? How do we like to be pampered? How can you make those special moms in your life, whether they're your actual mom, your family mom, your friend mom, your whatever mom they are, how you can pamper them so that they have the best day ever.
Yeah.
So it is episode 86,
Yeah.
how to pamper mom on Mother's Day. So we're going to try very hard not to recap what we did in the last episode because we had lots of cool ideas
Yeah.
about crochet related items that you can get for your
Yes.
moms, which whoever's celebrating, or what you can do with them. We're going to be a little bit more general in this one because not all moms crochet, as we know.
Right. For sure.
All right. So in your family, Biz, name some of the moms. You've got your actual birth mom, right? So some of the moms in your life that you celebrate.
Well, the important moms in my life would be my mom, my mother-in-law, my grandma, and then because I only have one living grandma left. And let's see, probably my pastor's wife. Those are, and then I've got a couple of close friends that
Right.
other
Yeah.
than that, that's kind of it.
So they don't have to be related to be moms that you are going to pamper or honor, right?
Yeah.
So my mom has passed away, so has my husband's, and my grandmas aren't living anymore either. So the moms that I honor are actually kind of fun because my daughter-in-law has gifted me 2 grandsons, so she's a
Oh, how
mom,
nice.
so I celebrate her, her mom, and then she has a big family, and so there are lots of moms in who still live in this area that we get together and celebrate with. So it's kind of an extended family sort of mom event. And one of the things that we do on a regular basis is we do a brunch. I mean, the Mother's Day brunch is an iconic kind of event that lots
Yeah.
of people do. You can either do it at a restaurant, you can do it at home. What do you and your family tend to do on Mother's Day?
Oh gosh.
Is there a tradition?
There isn't, but we're probably going to start one just because my daughter is now a mom as well. I completely blanked that out. But and she likes to do things. She likes to have traditions and stuff like that. Honestly, I feel like a terrible daughter, but we don't do brunches and things like that. We all just kind of go to our own houses and have our own day. for me, Mother's Day has always been very much about just leave me alone and let me sleep. Just
Yeah,
after we go
exactly.
to church, it's usually about me getting to pick out what I want to have for lunch or supper, and then the family makes dinner. And other than that, we don't really do a lot of things.
I have asked for years for that day off, that complete day off,
Yeah.
where that would involve me not making any decisions whatsoever, because I'm basically the decider in the entire family.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
hear
not
you.
sure I've ever had that. But when I always lived far away from my actual moms and grandmas,
Uh-huh.
so for me, it was less about sending them things that they could use or wear or whatever, and
Hmm.
maybe just ordering them some really beautiful treating them to flowers,
Yeah.
or treating them to one of their favorite snacks that I could make sure that could be delivered to the door,
Hmm.
because our entire family has kind of been rooted in the tradition of frugality, and
Mm,
we'd never had a lot of money growing up, and that kind of continued after we left home.
yeah.
So even getting a nice bouquet of flowers is a real treat,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Even here, you know, I think we lived away from our moms for quite a while when we first moved to Florida, and everybody else was still back in Wisconsin. Um, you know, I've always been just a texter. Hey, happy Mother's Day. I'm really terrible about remembering to buy cards and things like that. I'm terrible. But the older that we've gotten, and we have more money now than when we were younger. And so we try to do nice things for our moms, like send them flowers or get them, some kind of a gift that, speaks to them. A lot of times what we would do for Mother's Day when the kids were little is we would kind of get like a more of a grandma gift for the grandmas,
right.
where it involved the kids in it. So yeah, we don't have any real traditions to speak of. I've never actually been to a
Oh.
Mother's Day brunch.
Well, as I was telling you before the broadcast, my daughter-in-law's family came up with this idea a few years ago. Thankfully, it's kind of gone the way of the dinosaur, but um, Mother's Day brunch to me is our family just wraps every tradition, every holiday around food.
Oh, we do too.
Everything involves food, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there are traditional foods that show up at Christmas, Easter,
Yep.
say Patty's Day, that sort of thing. Mother's Day is always this nebulous holiday that nobody quite knows what to do with.
Yeah.
So they came up with this idea where, now I get that you, as a mother, having done all kinds of things for the rest of the family, go, I just want a day to myself. I'm going to go out and pamper myself. Adios, see you later.
Yeah.
So they came up with the idea that all the moms,
Uh-huh.
which is to exclude the husbands and the children and all of the stuff, and just go out and have brunch together. And that was such a head scratcher for me.
Yeah.
I just totally didn't get it, because I'm only a mom because I had kids.
Yeah.
Why not have the kids around,
And
So
quite
I
honestly,
didn't
that's
quite,
where my joy is being with them.
exactly. And I don't know about you, Biz, but I absolutely adore hanging out with my family.
Oh,
They
me
are the
too.
coolest people on the planet, right? So I'm not particularly interested in getting away from them. So thankfully, that tradition did not stick. We do occasionally do a Mother's Day brunch, but it'll be something like my son who cooks will put
Yeah.
together something, and we'll have mimosas and things like that. And
Yeah.
yay, ain't it great? But that's about as far as it goes. So anyway, if you all have any traditions, if you're listening to us and you're
Yeah.
watching this on YouTube, make sure that you put in the comments some of the traditions that you have. We would love to hear
Yeah.
about them.
Yes.
All right, now
Because
I
obviously
mentioned,
our list of traditions is very small.
yeah, and a lack thereof of traditions. So there is that. The tradition is that Mother's Day exists. Let's figure out what we can do.
Yes.
Um, So, like I said, in the last episode, we talked about crochet related gifts. In this one, we wanted to look a little bit more closely at some things that you can do that are tailored to the moms in your life, regardless of what relationship you actually have with them. And I
Sure.
think that tradition of having food is a wonderful one. Food
Yes.
is the great equalizer, right? You
Yeah.
get a good table of food and the conversation flows,
Yeah.
and everybody just has a great time.
And there's always that TV version of Mother's Day where the kids make this burnt breakfast and bring it to mom on a tray. I think I had that maybe once or twice when the kids were little.
Don't do that.
I mean,
Don't do
if
that.
that's what you guys do, then whatever. But um, it's a sweet gesture. But yeah, I think the thing that I enjoy as far as like that kind of a tradition is concerned is my husband does do a lot of cooking. So I was telling you before we started this that we happen to have a rib roast still in the freezer left over from when we bought a bunch of them at Christmas while they had these amazing prices. And so I told my husband, just take out the rib roast. We'll thaw that out and we'll have prime rib for Mother's Day. And it saves us a buck or two, instead of having to go out and do it. And the man knows how to cook. So that's a happy thing. But even if you're not really good at cooking, just making that effort towards her not having to be in the kitchen is a blessing.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, I mentioned that I lived far away from the day that my husband graduated, the day that I got married.
Mhm.
We attached a U-Haul to the back of the car
Oh,
and
wow.
moved many hundreds of miles away because
Yeah.
that's where my husband's first job was. So my entire married adult life, I have lived away from my extended family.
Yeah.
So one of the ways that I would show my, do something special for my moms, they didn't have access to their grandkids,
Um,
except for the summer trip that I took for a couple weeks to hang with them. They
sure.
didn't really get to spend time with the grandkids. So I would get a card and I'd print out a bunch of photos and send them to them. That was before cell phones. When cell phones finally came around, my mom had one, but never had one that had the ability to text and things like that. So,
Yeah.
and my mother-in-law died before cell phones were even a thing.
Oh, wow.
So I know. So that was never a thing back then. So I would load a card up with pictures, put the extra postage on, and they would enjoy those photos, take them to church, show them off. These are my grandkids, blah blah blah. And that actually was more special than the bouquet of flowers that I might have sent. They
Right.
love those pictures.
Right. I'm actually going to talk for a second about something that my cousin orchestrated a year or two ago for my grandmother, the one that's turning 100 in the summer. Bought her an electronic frame. And then there's
Yes.
an app that goes with it. And she gave the number out to everybody in the family. So all we do is we just download pictures on a fairly regular basis to her frame, and it just cycles through pictures of the family. So she gets updated stuff on the regular
Yep.
without us having to take the time to print it, because now it's a pain in the butt. Back in the
Yeah.
day when you're talking about it was like that's what you did. You just waited for your pictures to be printed. But now it's like, oh, now you got to order prints and all this stuff. It's just so yeah, I really love that idea because that would actually work really well in this situation too. If you're living away from your parents or your mom or whatever, getting one of those digitized
Yep.
frames that you can just send the pictures to from your phone.
Yeah, we did the same thing. And so all of us in the family own a Frameo.
Oh, how
And
nice.
whenever we, yeah, and they're a little pricey, but
Uh-huh.
they're worth it
An
because you're
investment.
always getting really cool family videos, family photos,
Yes.
and like you said, everybody can contribute. I hadn't even thought about that as an idea for today. But again, if you've got a mom that you live far away from, you can
Yeah.
get the siblings together and
Yeah.
share the cost of a Framio.
Oh, for
And
sure.
then I love that idea. That's fabulous. Or you can do things like handwritten letters.
Yep.
I don't know if you've ever done a gratitude jar where you
Yep.
take a mason jar and you put gratitude notes in it and give it to them. A very cool, it doesn't cost a dime.
Yes. Yes. Now
But
my husband still has one that my daughter made for him for Father's Day on his dresser. So, I mean, gratitude jars and things like that are something that we've done in our
yeah,
family. So, yeah.
yeah, I think putting a basket together, trying to think what my mom's favorite snack was. It's probably popcorn because we grew up on popcorn. But she and her husband would sit in front of the TV every night and
Uh,
snack and watch TV.
yeah.
What a fabulous gift it would be to create a basket of all of their favorite
Yeah.
snacks and drinks and gift it to them. And you think of it this way, they can go out and buy those things. Yes, they can.
Uh-huh.
But by doing it for them, A, you've saved them the effort of going out and buying it. But B, you've acknowledged that you pay attention to what they like.
Mhm.
And that means a lot.
And see, my son does that for Christmas for us. Like that's been his gift ever since he really didn't have much of a job when he was a teenager and he couldn't afford a whole lot. So he would make us bags with our favorite goodies in it. Well, now it's just become his thing. He's 28 years old and he's still buying everybody. That's what he gets together is he finds out what everybody's stuff is. And then and you're right. I could go buy this stuff, and I probably did last week. You know what I mean? But it's so nice to just have like I've just got a bag of goodies, and I don't
Yeah,
have
I
to go
love
out and
that
buy it.
idea.
Yes,
I love that idea. I mean, in this time, it doesn't matter what time we're in. We're
right.
always looking for ways to save a buck. And how do you show your appreciation without,
Yeah.
breaking the bank?
I love
You
you.
don't,
I see you. I noticed. All of that.
exactly. So there are lots of different ways that you can do that. Remember the days when our kids were in elementary school and teachers would make sure in art class that they
Yes,
created a card that the kid cut out the shapes, glued it,
yes,
and then they wrote with crayon on it, all of that stuff. Well, this is kind of the adult version of it,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
We could still do crayon cards. I'm not
We
saying you
could. Wouldn't
can't.
that be fun?
I know, right? You were mentioning breakfast and how, that burnt toast on a tray in bed. Now, I never got into the idea of having breakfast in bed because that eating in my bed just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
But what if a quiet breakfast in a nice, quiet place, a favorite place with favorite coffee, favorite juice, favorite
Yes.
waffles, I don't know, favorite recipe made especially for you.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be nice because you say waffles. Waffles is my favorite breakfast food. I don't know why. They're just perfect. I like a pancake. I can do a pancake, but I love a waffle. So, but I'm the only one who makes the waffles. When we sit
Okay,
down
that's
and
a
have
that's a
waffles made,
problem, Biz.
I'm the one who makes the waffles. So if somebody were to feed me a plate of waffles I didn't have to make, that would be beautiful.
That would be your pamper day.
It would be.
Um, I was telling you before we started about something my daughter and I started doing. We found this absolutely adorable shop in the town next over,
Uh-huh.
called Let Them Eat Cake. And they do, by appointment, they do afternoon tea.
Oh, nice.
And I love this shop because it's very quaint.
Uh-huh.
they've done a good job of kind of piecing together odd bits and pieces to create this ambiance that's
Uh-huh.
kind of fairy-like and magical. The dinnerware, this reminds me of my grandmother because my grandmother did this. They've gone to estate sales and garage sales and
Oh.
collected
Mm-hmm.
these fancy plates with, the old floral patterns and the old
Uh-huh.
royal patterns, gold, silver, that sort of thing. And that's what you're served on. The old teapots, nothing in the shop matches. Not a thing matches, and it's just adorable.
It's so
They
cute.
you pick out tea sandwiches and scones and
Oh,
muffins and
yum.
things like that from a menu, and then they serve it on a three-tiered serving
Yes.
rack.
Tray. Oh,
Um,
fun.
and that what it like I said, it reminds me so much of my grandmother because all of the special dishes that I have, all of the china, all of the glassware I have,
Yes.
my grandmother actually went to garage sales in her little town in Missouri and collected these pieces one at a time. They all
Oh, how
matched.
fun.
Um, and they're etched glass, they're cake
Yeah.
stands with these beautiful adornments on them. And
Yeah.
going to that little tea shop just reminds me of my grandma. But it's such a special I would go there in a heartbeat for any occasion.
Yeah. That's cool. There's one that in our area I haven't been, but it gives me an idea of something because I think I had talked with maybe it was this episode, maybe it was last, but talked about wanting to do something spa-ish for my daughter.
Mm.
But there's no place around here that does like the whole cucumber on the eye spa day. But she's got a friend who's going to be coming over from Tampa who had just had a baby and so they both have new babies. Maybe I should get them a day at the tea parlor because that would be so much fun and what a unique experience for the both of them. And
Exactly.
oh, that would be so cute. Yeah, maybe I'll
You
do that.
just feel very, very special.
Yes,
Um,
be something a memory for them.
all right, now this one only works if you actually do it. And I've been promised these things in the past and been bitterly disappointed,
Oh no.
but I'm going to still mention it. A day off coupon.
Oh man. I don't think anybody knows how to really give
Bitterly,
mom a full day off.
bitterly disappointed.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Okay. So I this this is just how our household works. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just how it works.
Yes.
My husband is so interested in making sure that everybody's happy that he won't make a decision. What
Oh
do you
my
want, hon?
god.
I don't care. But when you give someone a day off coupon, you kind of have to make a decision. You have to be the one who goes, okay, that's it. Well, whatever you want. Well, I want a day off from making decisions. That's my day off. Make a decision. And it's really hard. So he has to enlist the help of the kids. They have to make the decision. I know and
It's
usually
so
what
funny
ends up
because it's my
happening,
life.
I know. And so what ends up happening is I make the decisions
Oh
because I get so after it gets drawn out for a while, you just kind of go, all right, I give up, just do this. Um, it's still kind of a day off because I don't actually have to fix the meal or
yeah.
drive myself to the place or whatever, but there is never truly a day off
No.
over
No.
here. Just
No.
saying.
My husband, he's a beautiful man. Love him to pieces. Sweet. Oh, he's so sweet. And, he's just so good to me on so many levels that I don't want to complain about him, but I'm gonna because he is as beautiful as he is, as sweet as he is. He will not make decisions. And he and I have gotten into
What
almost
is up with that?
knockdown dragouts because all I want you to do is tell me what do you want. You know that Notebook movie? What do you want? That I swear to God, I've had that exact scene in my life. Just tell me what you want. Just Oh my God,
Just
I
make,
love it to death, but come on. You can't
well, it seems
get
to be a
that mellow
common
about everything.
affliction. Yeah, I know.
You can't
So
not have an
I
opinion about
say,
everything.
if you have the right family for it, do a day off coupon. Make sure it's truly a day off.
Yes.
Just saying. So
Okay. All right.
decisions are also a thing to do. So
I get really
okay,
fired up when it gets to that
I know.
particular subject.
Now, it's not a far stretch to think that anybody listening to this episode can come up with a plethora of ideas
Oh
for
yeah.
pampering a mom.
Yes.
So I thought it would be fun if we shared, if we could have anything we wanted as a pamper, what would it look like?
Oh
Go
man.
Biz, can you think of, I know, pie in the sky, what would your
Okay.
ideal pampered
Pie in the sky, and of
experience
course
look?
it's gonna involve a lot of food because
Yes.
it's gonna be a whole day. So we're gonna start with a really beautiful breakfast, probably something involving a hollandaise sauce, and then we are going to sit on. This is just I just want to sit on the balcony down by the beach and listen to the waves and have the breeze go across me. I don't want to get sunburnt. I don't want to get filleted by the sand whipping on me. I just want to listen to the waves for an hour or two while I either read, listen to music, or crochet. Probably crochet. Maybe play some games on my phone. Then I want to have a really nice lunch in one of the seafood shops down on the beach. And then I want to have an afternoon in a hot tub. And then
Wow.
I want to finish the day off with a steak and then leave me alone and let me go to sleep.
Oh man. Wow, I
And
cannot top
that
that.
took zero thought. That literally just came to my mind as I was going.
That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, I don't think mine's quite that involved. It does have a lot of food because one does have to eat, and
I mean,
special things
food.
during the day is great. But I don't know. I'm not the person who needs to go out anywhere to feel pampered.
No.
Although I will say that I would love an afternoon, an absolutely gorgeous barn that's been converted for a winery,
Ooh.
and right, that serves food.
Uh-huh.
Um, that there's one up in the Finger Lakes that fits the bill. They open the barn doors, you're looking out over the vineyards.
Is there a
The
nice breeze
breeze is
through?
flowing. Yep,
Oh,
breeze is flowing
yeah,
through
the
the
breeze is
barn.
everything.
You order the food, you drink some of your favorite wine,
Mhm.
just be.
Yes.
Because I think that's the biggest component of my pampering besides the food part is just be. Because we
Yes.
don't allow ourselves to do that very often.
Not often. We don't have
Um,
time.
we don't. I would I would wager a bet that we do have the time. We just don't make the time because we think we don't have the time.
That's true.
So Mother's Day is a good excuse for us to make the time
Yes.
because there you are.
We're
But
supposed to be pampered.
I wholeheartedly agree with your pampering day. I would get into that. The beach for us is the shore. Sorry, we call it the shore up here.
Mm,
It's not the beach. Um, Whatever. It's the Jersey Shore. So
yeah.
it's the Jersey Shore and the Delaware beaches, but the Jersey Shore is closer to us. Is only 2 hours away, but it's still enough of a hike that we don't really do it.
Yeah.
So in
I mean, we
lieu
only
of
live 30
that,
minutes from the beach and we still don't go.
yeah, it's a trek. But that I think both of us have fabulous ideas for
Yes.
our days.
Yes. And may they come to be.
Maybe not this year, but maybe in a future year.
Some
All right,
point
let's
in
see
my
if
life,
we've.
I'm going to sit on a beach, on a balcony down by the beach and just listen to the waves. At some point in my life, it's going to happen.
I think that's a fabulous idea. Now we've got other ideas on here, but again, like I said, We talked about all of the handmade things you can do. Those of you listening to us are crocheters, most likely,
Yeah.
meaning all the things that you could put together for a mom. So we don't need to rehash that. Just go listen to that previous episode. That was episode 85, by the way. But let me see if there's anything else that we had on here that would be a fabulous, I think, surprise. Ooh, here's a good one. I don't know how the moms in your life feel about surprises. I'm way too observant for my own good. There's no one can surprise me with a party because I see all the things, know all the things, whether you told me or showed me or not. I can detect the slightest bit of squirreliness in anybody and figure out if I know that a certain day is here and you're acting squirrely, I've got those put together before you ever have the day planned.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult for me to be surprised. But if you have a mom in your life that you want to honor and they're not quite as observant as I am, then do something, surprise her with, okay, grab your coat, Mom, get in the car, I'm going to take you somewhere, and maybe head to the local yarn shop, or you can also head to the local bookstore and have a nice cup of coffee while reading amongst the bookshelves.
Oh, how fun that would be.
Right. If they like to hike, find a beautiful park, take a picnic lunch, take a hike, have the lunch. I mean, there's so many ways to surprise Mom. And I think pulling the wool over someone's eyes is a great way to honor them, because that means you really put a lot of thought into it and didn't pick their brain for any of these ideas.
My husband only got one over on me one time. It was my 45th birthday, and he managed to pull off a surprise party for me. That's the only time that he's ever tried, but he managed to do it. I don't know if it's just because I was totally unobservant or what, but I like to think that I pay attention to stuff, but apparently not.
Oh, yeah, I can't. I just, yeah, it doesn't
my
work.
daughter, she wants a surprise party so bad, except she's looking for it. She's always like,
oh yeah,
figuring things out. She's like you, like, you're doing something weird. My birthday's over here. What are you doing?
Even if it's past. Even if the birthday's past, right?
Oh my goodness.
Well, I just had this significant birthday, but it was over there. But you're still being squirrely. So what's that about? I don't know. I'm just really hard to surprise. So
that's a bummer.
Well, do you have any other ideas that we can relay to our listeners about how to pamper those special moms in our lives?
Quite honestly, I think everybody has an idea of what they could do. If you pay attention to your mom at all, you know the things that she enjoys. And you know what would speak to her heart better than we do. We can throw out all kinds of ideas and different things that you could do, but quite honestly, do what's in your heart to do for your mom, because you know her the best, and you know what is going to bless her more than anybody else. And so, yes, spas are great. Day at the beach, hike in the woods, a picnic lunch anywhere, a tea, go to the tea shop, that kind of stuff. Just a surprise or just something just that speaks directly to her and lets her know how much you value her. So, I mean,
and nothing is too small.
No.
Right?
No.
I know that we obsess, we agonize over, oh my gosh, this isn't enough. Well, generally speaking, because she's your mom, or she probably isn't enough in value, in monetary value, but it is enough because you thought of it and you gave it to her. So it is enough.
Like even my son, one of his things that he does every once in a while, he'll just reach out to me, or I'll reach out to him, and I'll be like, we haven't hung out in a while. We haven't watched a movie, because he's my weirdo. he's my fellow weirdo in the house. We watch the weird stuff. We watch the silly movies and so we'll get together because nobody in the house wants to watch the vampires and the werewolves with me. Only he does. So we'll find whatever weird movie we haven't watched yet together, and we'll get together on a Saturday afternoon, and we tell Tony and Stephanie, we don't care what you do. You're welcome to join us, but don't bug us. So we just like to have that time together. And so even just saying, hey, Mom.
Spending time.
Is there a movie we can watch
exactly.
together? Or can I come over and play cards? Does your mom like to play cards?
Yeah.
Or board games?
All of those things. Right. So this episode airs 2 days before Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage you, as I did earlier in the episode, to share some of your special traditions and ideas in the comments on either one of our channels or both if you are so inclined. And if you post about it on Instagram or Facebook, be sure to tag us so that we can see what you did for Mother's Day. And we'd love to share in all of the things that you do for Mother's Day. And if it's just showing up at the front door and giving your mom a hug or that special someone a hug, tag it and let us know that you did it.
Yes. We love to know. Because moms
big
are
hugs.
super special.
I know. Big hugs to all the moms, all the special women in our lives who have given so much to us. So with that, we're going to sign off for today. We hope you join us next time for a super special episode, which I'm not going to spill the beans about here. You can read about it on YouTube when it announces because you subscribe to us, right? See what I did there?
Get that right in there.
I know. So for now, we're going to say goodbye. Enjoy your week.
Yes.
And we will see you in the next episode of There's No Crying in Crochet.